So Kuro Games has finally introduced their first ever event exclusive weapon, but don't get baited by how good this weapon may seem at the forefront. And I want to explain that to you in this video, so make sure to stay tuned. So the newest weapon we've gotten here, which at first I thought was only going to be a skin until they released details for it, we are getting from the new event, the Somnoire, which is like the second Elusirum event where we have like the Dream Link and your rover can have like Lumi's attacks and all of that. But going into the weapon, it is a sword that pretty much is going to be a very solid Camellya free-to-play weapon. What this sword does is you gain a stack of something called Hiss when you deal damage to someone, but you can only get this stack every 1 second. So that means it is going to take 10 seconds to get the full stack buff because you can stack this up to 10 times. And I'm assuming they're going to give you the R5 as weapon for free, which means you're going to be able to get up to 40% attack. Now that is pretty good. The only problem with it is that, like I said, it's going to take 10 seconds to get up. And if you know how wuwa works, a lot of characters in the game are quick swappy, they do all this stuff, and taking 10 seconds to get your full buff and having like all your buffs be on, like most people's buffs last for like 20 seconds on average, let's say. So you're getting like 10 seconds of their buff. There's just a lot of, a lot of intricacies with it. And the second part of the passive, which is also really nice, is we finally have a 4-star weapon that gives crit rate that is not limited to the battle pass or the 5-star weapons that you get from the standard banner. One thing also that you have to keep note of is that switching off of this weapon clears all of your stacks, which is, I wish they didn't include that, I'm not gonna lie. That's another reason why this is probably only going to be good on Camellya, because Camellya wants to be on field until she is done DPSing, compared to other characters where they won't be done DPSing and you can swap in between back and forth with them. And the crit rate on this goes up to 12%, but the crit rate only happens once you have 10 stacks. I kind of wish you could stack up the crit rate maybe it goes up by like 2s or something, who knows. But yeah, the only thing with the crit rate is you will only get it at 10 stacks. So your first 10 hits that you're doing onto the enemy, you're not going to have that crit rate booster, which is unfortunate. But like I said, this is going to be a pretty much Camellya weapon. Other sword characters that could potentially use this, and I think just they're not going to use this, you're just going to use Emerald, or you do something like the Command of Conviction, is like we have Rover. Rover is probably the closest to being able to use this. Only thing with Rover is when you're in your Forte mode, you get at max like 10 hits off. So like you'd have the crit at the end for like maybe when you cast Ultimate. Maybe like casting Dreamless can count for this, but the only thing with casting Dreamless is you're swapping off and you're casting Dreamless, so you wouldn't even get the buff. So I can't even see Rover really using this. Donjin wouldn't use this. If you're going to use a 4-star on Donjin, Donjin can just use the heavy attack one that you can craft from the guy in Genjo. Then there is Sanhua, like I was saying. Sanhua, I think you just use Command of Conviction. You just swap into her, get the attack buff, and you swap off. Or you just have Emerald of Genesis, same for Donjin as well. Then there is Yang Yang. Yang Yang could maybe use this, but once again, Emerald of Genesis exists, and as far as I know, Yang Yang doesn't really pair with any other sword characters right now besides maybe Cheng-Li, which you would be quick swapping, so you wouldn't be able to use the buffs. So hopefully that informs you on this weapon. Don't want to stall the video too long here. That's pretty much my thoughts on this weapon. Also, I didn't talk about Cheng-Li, but Cheng-Li, obviously quick swap, but she's going to lose the stacks. Not good for just use Emerald of Genesis. Yeah, so hopefully this has informed you on the weapon. If you have any questions, let me know about it. I haven't done any calcs for this weapon or anything, but realistically, it should be the same as the other 4-star weapons, just with less downtime in terms of damage. So realistically, it's probably lower than the current 4-star weapons we have until you get 10 stacks. And the only person that would be worth calcing it for is Camellya. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be seeing you later. Goodbye!